So I want to go ahead and check out some more SLV stuff. So of course you got Audrey Burroughs, right? You got that serial killer. He was part of some gang. So Audrey Psycho Burroughs. And shit will happen, but does shit have to happen every goddamn year, every goddamn second? Does shit have to happen all the goddamn time? Shit doesn't need to happen all the goddamn time. 46,000, if we can't even find peace amongst 46,000, how in the hell are these big cities supposed to find peace with millions of people? So I have here, you had the one case, which was interesting, Aaliyah Salazar. So Aaliyah Salazar is going to get killed. It's a TikTok video. You got 3 juveniles, including Aaliyah. And then you got some 18, 19, 20-year-old. And apparently he was dating one of the females, but they said that he was not contributing, it was not delinquency to a minor, but it was giving her a handgun or something about giving someone a gun. Well, the whole thing makes no damn sense. The man who was even in the house at the time, they took his gun and then they shot one of her, shot one of the females. So you got 3 female teenagers who are just doing TikTok videos, and I don't know if there's jealousy or what the hell is going on, but the man, Emiliano Vargas, is out, working a job, and while he's out working a job, comes back, well, apparently somebody took one of his guns and had shot the other teenager. And so you got 3 female teenagers, one's dead, Aaliyah Salazar, it looked like she wasn't doing anything, just dancing, having a good time, and then the 2 juveniles, well, they're gangsters, right? One's going to get 45 days in the detention center. That's the one that didn't do anything. The one that shot, who pulled the trigger, she got 2 years of probation. And the maximum sentence was just 2 years in a juvenile detention, the DYS. That was the maximum sentence. So if you're 14, 15, 16, 17 years old, you could shoot another person and the maximum is just 2 years. You'd have to try them as an adult. Well, what if they're 14? What if they're, 9, 10, 11, 12? You'd have to try a 12-year-old as an adult, because if you try them as a juvenile, 2 years detention center and the juvenile, that's the maximum that you get. So Aaliyah Salazar gets no justice whatsoever. She got shot in the head, so therefore that person deserves life in prison. But instead of giving that person life in prison, well, they know the judge, and the judge is a piece of shit, corrupt motherfucker who doesn't apply the law evenly across the board. So the one juvenile who didn't pull the trigger, but was somehow there, a part of the thing, 45 days in DYS, and then the maximum sentence was 2 years, but we're not just going to give the other one probation. Jesus Christ. Talk about corruption. Can you get any more corrupt than that? Del Norte, you got this Toby Enfield appeared in Rio Grande District Court to be sentenced for the November 7th, 2022 shooting of Undersheriff Heath Hart. So Heath Hart, the number 2 cop, is going to get shot by Toby Enfield. And now he's got a name, right? Just like Rage Against the Machine. Now I got a name. So Wednesday, he's there for sentencing, Rio Grande Sheriff's Office. Michael Gonzalez. Again, Michael Gonzalez. So this is interesting. Toby Enfield didn't kill anybody, right? So he had shot at a police officer. That one guy shot at a police officer, gets 28 years. Aaliyah Salazar got fucking murdered. Well, probation. Get on out of here, you. It's best for you to be taken care of in the community. Yeah, right. Michael Gonzalez doesn't know these people. Michael Gonzalez ain't fucking corrupt as shit. So in a resolution, you had Toby Enfield pleaded guilty to criminal attempt to commit murder in the 2nd degree, a Class 3 felony. Assault in the 1st degree with a deadly weapon, also a Class 3 felony, but with a crime of violence sentence enhancer. Jesus Christ. The juveniles, the female teenagers that murdered Aaliyah Salazar got a slap on the wrist. Probation. Just his charges sound worse than what they got. increases the presumptive range of sentencing. The agreement also included a stipulation that Toby Enfield, 54, would be sentenced to 17 years. 17 years. Where in the fuck is the justice in this goddamn justice system? 17 years. I mean, if he shot him, well, how much injury? I guess that's the question. How bad was Under Sheriff Heath Hart? The shooting of him, he got shot, not shot at, right? So let's hear what... I'm not saying 17 years isn't the right amount of time. I am saying when you compare Aaliyah Salazar's murderers to this guy, well, the guy still lives. She's out on probation, and he has to go into jail for 17 years. And the Department of Corrections for the first charge, 18 years for the second, to be served consecutive. So he gets 35 fucking years. Holy shit. Holy shit. Oh, sorry, man. My hands are tied. I got to give you 35 years. November 7th, Under Sheriff Hart was looking for Enfield, who was suspected of stealing a truck. When he spotted him driving the stolen vehicle, a chase ensued. Enfield came to a stop in a relatively unpopulated area, exited the truck, was running away. When he turned, aimed, and fired multiple shots at the undersheriff, striking him under his left arm. As he dove behind the dashboard of his vehicle, Kelly described Enfield as someone who has been involved in criminal activity for decades. He claimed that he was trying to commit suicide by cop, but his actions directly contradicted that, says the DA. Including numerous times when Enfield didn't stop when being pursued. Kelly zeroed in on the shooting, stating that Hart was just getting out of his vehicle when Enfield turned and fired multiple shots, aiming directly at Hart's head. If Under Sheriff Hart hadn't ducked behind the dashboard with his left arm extended, he would have been killed. I had Sam Jepson that was shooting at me. You think Ann Kelly gives a fuck about that? Who the fuck is Sam Jepson to her? Phil Greene was committing crime after crime after crime, doing stop and goes, acting like he's gonna try to do some shootings. Phil Greene was part of a drive-by shooting. I got videotape of a guy clicking his gun right on the side of the vehicle. I got another one where the guy's just driving around my fucking house. I have piles and piles of evidence of shit happening. Apparently, if a cop arrests somebody, well, we know that's plenty of probable cause. That's all the probable cause you need. You don't even need any evidence. You kidnapped the guy. Well, clearly, you must be right. Because you kidnapped somebody, because you could, arrest the dangerous person. You haven't arrested Chris Mondragon yet, so actually a lot of dangerous people they haven't arrested. Or you can arrest the compliant person, right? Obey your priest, obey your parents, obey the teachers, obey the boss, obey, obey, obey. Now a cop says, hey, I want to fuck you over too. Okay, I guess I'll get 175 years here. Kelly zeroed in to see Under Sheriff Hart if he hadn't have done that. All those claims were the defendant, concluded the defendant has no place in society. He's proven he's a danger since he's been a criminal for a while. The guy did get hit under the arm. That could have been a deadly shot. He had to go to the hospital, right? And there might be, some long-term complications with that. Public defender Jamie Cairns said Enfield was never denied what he did and takes responsibility for his actions, pointing out that in his criminal history, none involved assault. She described a man who was at a low point in his life but was taking multiple medications for mental health issues. Then you should have said insanity, pleaded, insanity. Then he would have, just done 2 years probation and been walking around just like that guy that burnt all those houses down. They kept trying to fucking dope him up and get him into a mental institution. He can never repair what he's done, but he's trying to better his life. Kieran said he's asking for the chance to make those changes, needs a goal of getting out of prison at some point. If given the minimum sentence of 28 years, he would be released in the 70s, which gives him hope. Minimum sentence, 28 years. The minimum sentence was 35 years. Enfield's statement was brief. He apologized to Under Sheriff Hart. He says he deserves to pay for the pain he has caused. He also apologized. He's saying sorry, but Gonzalez is like, you're very bad. Stinky man. You're a stinky man. 7 convictions. It says a criminal history that paints a pretty horrible picture. He failed to take advantage of the opportunities. Yeah, because going to jail and getting a PhD in criminology is a great way to treat people. Hey, we got you raped for 20 years in jail already. How come that didn't help you, huh? He then focused on Enfield trying to take the life of a law enforcement officer who was just trying to do his job, keeping the community safe, law enforcement. But if a private citizen does a police action like thrash, well, we know he needs to be thrown away forever too. And these motherfuckers make no sense at all. A cop kidnaps somebody, you know that's fascism. This is totalitarian fascism. And the cops probably look at the DA and the judge for, direction. They think that they're the boss and that what they say goes. But it's actually the opposite. The tail is wagging the dog. So the police are doing whatever the hell they want, and then you got the DAs and the judges who's covering their asses as much as they can, pulling out all the damn stops. Law enforcement isn't perfect, but they're held to a higher standard. You're not making any sense. We look down on them because one or two officers, it's not an easy job. Every day they go to work not knowing if they'll come back. You aim the gun at Under Sheriff Hart, try to kill him. There could be no excuse for that. A man willing to shoot a police officer who has a gun is a danger. Gonzalez acknowledged that no one should have to experience what Enfield has in his life, but that doesn't give you the right to do what you did. If there's one message we should send in this case, it's that this community will not tolerate violence against a police officer. He said he did not impose a sentence easily, but he is not there to give the defendant hope. He sentenced Enfield to the maximum sentence of 35 years in the DOC. Kelly made the following statement after the sentence had been delivered. Mr. Enfield, because you got to respect him, right, attempted to assassinate. He was stealing a car. The cop chased him. He shot at him a couple times. So he deserves to be sentenced, but they are going on and on and on, and they are really just licking their own buttholes at this point for this despicable act of extreme cowardice and depravity. That's interesting. Sam Jepson's allowed to commit crimes. Somebody murdered my dog. Nobody investigated. Nobody gave a shit. And Robert Pickerel committed crimes. Crime on top of crime on top of crime. Talk about extreme cowardice and depravity. Oh, okay. None of them are. The cop didn't kidnap them, so I guess if a criminal commits a crime that isn't captured clearly. I mean, I captured a crime on several crimes on videotape, and that still didn't convince anybody of anything. This community fully supports our men and women who wear the badge and risk their lives every day to keep us safe. This sentence reflects. So a lot of this just seems like they're just, the tail's wagging the dog. It's like the cops they got a license to murder because the damn DA and the damn judges don't know right from wrong. Here's another thing here. Murder suspect arrested in New Mexico. This is August 2nd, 2024. So this is recent. So this is something recently. This one was a while ago, and it was under sheriff, I want to say, what was it, Rio Grande County? So I'm not defending the guy at all. I'm just thinking that you put power in the hands of a coward. Well, I think we should put him in jail for 1,000 years. I think he should be in there for 2,000 years. It was really, really bad. I wonder what the cop himself would have thought would have been a fair sentence, Now, we as a society has to pay for this asshole. We got to pay 3 hots and a cot. We got to pay for his lodging, his housing. And since he's going to be in jail forever, well, then he's just going to have to get used to jail life. He's going to be institutionalized. He's going to be attacking this person and that person. Somebody goes in for jaywalking, he'll attack that person. He could stab whoever he wants to, attack whoever he wants to. The stolen vehicle has been recovered. Alamosa PD detectives will work with the 12th Judicial Attorney, have Chavez extradited back to Colorado to face charges of second-degree murder, robbery, auto theft. The Alamosa Police Department has been searching for Larry Chavez, 33 of Alamosa, wanted in connection with a fatal shooting on Thursday evening. Okay, now this person killed a person. I think that a human life is worth all the property of the richest person out here. So, like I said, 35 years, the way that they talked about it just seems like it's overkill. I would like to know what the cop that got shot, what he thought would be a fair sentence. I mean, 15 years is a long-ass time. Well, I'm not here to give you hope, okay? You fucking douchebag. Nobody's asking you to give him hope. Just be for justice, motherfucker. Every goddamn thing that you don't like the person, jaywalking, 35 years. He shot him. He shot at him. He was running away in pursuit of the thing, so it's a dangerous situation. He'd been in criminal, for years, and they said no assault, so that's interesting. What we're talking about marijuana charges. Seems like it's a bit overkill. Anyways, okay, Alamosa Police Department has been searching for Larry Chavez. Okay, what did this 33-year-old Larry Chavez do? So 33-year-old Larry Chavez is a person of interest in a shooting that took place earlier the day. He believed to be driving a black 2012 Lincoln MKZ, Colorado license AX OB36. According to an APD press release at noon on Friday, detectives had searched a warrant for second-degree murder for Chavez. Further investigation has revealed the victim and Chavez were known to each other, but the motive for the shooting is unclear. They requested assistance of the U.S. Marshal Service CBI Fugitive Apprehension Team in locating Chavez. Shortly after 6 p.m. on Thursday evening, APD was dispatched to the 1700 block of State Avenue. On the report of a shooting, upon arrival at the scene, officers found a male victim who had been shot and started life-saving measures. The victim was transported to the San Luis Valley Health Regional Medical Center where he was pronounced deceased. Initial investigation identified Chavez, who had fled the scene in the victim's vehicle, as the suspect in the shooting. Officers received information in several locations where he could be hiding, with one area southwest of Alamosa identified as the primary location. Officers from numerous agencies, Parks and Wildlife, did an extensive search of the area. Reverse 911 was sent to that location. Chavez wasn't located earlier in the day. Deputies from the Alamosa Sheriff's Office responded to a shooting north of Alamosa where a suspect fired a shot, but no one was injured. Chavez is a person of interest in that shooting as well. The name of the victim killed in the shooting will be released by the Alamosa County coroner. When? Because if we truly care about the victims, then we would, you could say Larry Chavez is a terrible, terrible person, but then that means the other person would be, has the heart of an angel. You would know something about the guy. He would, like Elijah McClain would play a violin for the pets. He would play a violin for the dogs and the cats. You would know something about the victim. Well, his name was Peter Peterson. Oh, Peter Peterson, huh? Yeah, we kind of knew him, but not really. Oh, okay. So, what happened? Who knows? They're saying that they had shot him, so second-degree murder, robbery, and auto theft. So, several charges there. Bond set for Larry Chavez at $10 million. So, let's click on this. This is South Fort Times. Larry Chavez, bond set for $10 million. At the request of the DA's office, the court was set bond. That one woman, she stabbed the hell out of that guy and only had a bond of $7,500. You had Jessica Medina stabbed and killed Jeffrey Segura and had a bond of $7,500. Even though that seems too low and $10 million seems too high, it's like, can we have some balance here and can we have some consistency? We have no consistency whatsoever when it comes to the application of these laws. She stabs a man to death and she could, bail out for $7,500. She murdered him. That's a murder. How come she doesn't have a $5 million bond? So Enrique Parra. So RIP to Enrique Parra. Enrique Parra, 33. No, he was... See, it says it was August 1st that it had happened, and it doesn't really say what had happened. According to the clerk in Alamosa County Combined Court, he's been charged with 18 different counts in the case. 1 count of murder in the second degree, felony 2, second-degree assault with a deadly weapon, F4, kidnapping, F2, 2 counts of motor vehicle theft, F4, 4 counts of felony menacing, F5, theft, $5,000 to $10,000, F6, third-degree assault, misdemeanor 1, criminal mischief, misdemeanor, plus 6 counts of habitual criminal. Due to his criminal history, if Chavez is judged by the court to be a habitual criminal in connection with the felonies, his sentence will be 4 times the maximum range of sentencing for each felony he is convicted of committing. There's so much paperwork on top of this. Basically, it's either life or the capital punishment. If Chavez is convicted of some but not all the felony counts he's being accused of committing, but he's deemed by the court in connection with that felony to be a habitual criminal, sentence of life in prison is a possibility. As was reported by the Valley Courier shortly after 6 p.m. on the evening of Thursday, Alamosa Police Department was dispatched to the 1700 block of State Avenue. What's going on at the 1700 block of State Avenue? That's not the first time I've heard of State Avenue. Upon arriving at the scene, officers found a male victim, later identified as Parra, who had been shot. Life-saving measures were immediately instigated. Let's see how many minutes I got. Try to get it in 30 minutes or less. Upon arriving at the scene, officers found a male victim later identified as Parr who had been shot. Life-saving measures were immediately instigated. Parr was transferred to San Luis Valley Regional Medical Center, where he was pronounced deceased. Chavez, identified as a suspect in the shooting, fled the scene, initiating a manhunt with numerous law enforcement agencies in the San Luis Valley assisting along with the drone from Colorado Parks and Wildlife. Early Friday morning, APD requested assistance of the U.S. Marshals in locating Chavez. Within hours, and the help of local law enforcement, Chavez was taken into custody in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Chavez appeared in the court of Judge Daniel Walls on Tuesday morning for a first appearance in the case. If Tuesday was any indication, DA Ann Kelly would be prosecuting the case with James Valencia serving as the defense. Next time Chavez is scheduled to appear in court is 9:30 a.m. on September 10th, which is another 15 days away or so. This is the second time that the district attorney's office has been successful in bond being set by the court in the millions of dollars. His first case where bond was set at $5 million in the case of Henry Corral. So what did Henry Corral do? I mean, we're getting tough on crime, right? But they also said that you can have tough on crime policies, but even those don't, in the long run, they're not deterrents to gangbangers who weren't educated, has no culture, has no manners, doesn't care about being good or moral, and definitely doesn't care about being lawful. They're not going to pay for their planning and zoning permits, and they're not going to call the police and report any crimes. This is the second time that the DA's office has been successful in bond being set by the court in the millions of dollars. The first case where bond was set at $5 million was in the case of Henry Corral, accused of fatally shooting 2 men and seriously injuring a third. So he killed 2 men. You kill somebody, you definitely should go to jail. You should get a jury trial, and you should probably, you should go to jail, and you should probably get life, if not capital punishment, especially if it's an innocent person. If it's, 2 gangsters shooting at each other, but if it's just a bystander or something, accused of fatally shooting 2 men and injuring a third. So Larry Chavez has a $10 million bond, and then Henry Corral has a $5 million bond. So basically we're saying he ain't getting out. So the Valley Courier reached out to the DA's office for a comment on the bond, but didn't receive a response by press time. So, all right, carrying on. Let's see here. We have, what is this? We are Iowa.com. Is this even in the SLV? Creston, Iowa. No, it is not. So let's take a look at this other one here. TMZ. Why is TMZ covering the SLV? What is TMZ? Boozy Badass Concert? No, that has nothing to do with us. Iowa, man, that's another thing. Okay, so we have some tabs here that we are knocking down. Let's see, what is this one here? The Iowa man, apparently a son shot a father, or the father shot a son for stinky feet. Your feet stink. We struggled at times to stay in front of this fire and stay out of the way of it. Oh, you had this arson in Monte Vista. The fire whips, and 20 to 30 homes are going to get wiped out. And then the cops are saying, just go. And one of the dogs was fucking killed. They had to leave a dog. This is some sick shit. Let the people go in their burning house. If they want to risk their own lives, cops want to fucking threaten them. They're, hey, we're saving your life is what we're doing. Yeah, maybe they'll get a bucket of water. Maybe they'll save the house. Or maybe they'll save their pets. Or maybe they'll save their children. Maybe they'll save the photograph or the evidence for the, murder case. There was an opportunity for things to be very bad. It already was bad. Deputy State Fire Chief Paul Durette, he and Dean Felder praised the response of volunteer firefighters. 20 to 30 houses. I mean, I guess they stopped it. It could have, burnt the whole community, but it's basically, it burnt the whole fucking neighborhood. That neighborhood is gone. Emergency shelter at the Nazarene Church. Fire whips through Monte Vista, destroys a neighborhood. This is Owen Williams, and this happened April 20th, 2024. Or 2022. So that's, goodness gracious. This is Alamos, a citizen. It's a bad day for Monte Vista. I don't want to say it's old news. I think it's important. I'm not going to go through it in the total details, but going door to door, begin evacuations. The guy that started that one fire, he They wanted to say he was crazy and throw him into a mental institution. He didn't say he was crazy for 2 years, and then they just let him go. Because you're supposed to have a trial within 6 months or something, and then they just dismissed the case. They wouldn't let us go down and look, he said. Many residents were told to just go with no time to pack anything. There are currently no reports of injuries or missing persons. Dingfelder said that they expect the evacuation zone to be closed for quite a while and was unable to give the public a time frame for residents to return. So that would be hard to listen to. Now here's interesting. A bullet from midnight gunfight with sheriff's deputies go through the bedroom wall. So this was interesting because I mentioned this before. Justin Trujillo. They fired like 100 shots at this guy. So he's just recklessly driving, which is bad. They give chase. As they're chasing him, they say he shot first, which you never know. And there was gunshots. We'll just say a gunfight ensued. And he shot back at them, and then that really pisses him off. And so they shot like 100 shots. This is the 1200 block of 3rd Street. And this poor house has got bullet holes all over. The bullet holes in the car and the vehicle and the tire and the garage door. You got M1, L1. You got all these numbers. Like here's 1 bullet hole, 2 bullet holes. So it looks like about 20 bullet holes. But, I mean, they said Trujillo fired at least 1 round. At least 1 shot. And then they just fucking shot the shit out of, in his direction. They only hit him twice, they said. They hit him in the stomach and 1 in the leg. So what happened to the other 30 shots? Do we need cops that just shoot 30 fucking times and miss the guy and it hits a homeowner? And then somebody said that it went through their bedroom wall, so it was real close to where they were laying, so it could have got one of them. The suspect was aided by the deputies, transported to the SLV Regional Medical Center. He was later flown out to a Colorado Springs hospital with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. He was in the hospital in stable condition. The deputies who weren't named, they were put on administrative leave. It's just a lot. The red SUV Trujillo drove was left running in the street all night and day. Just let it keep running. Why not turn the damn car off? Even the windshield wipers were on the whole time. What are they doing? What in the hell are they doing? The agents, residents said, conducted a search warrant in their house just after 8 a.m. They were assisted by the Alamosa County Sheriff's Office and Alamosa Victim Advocate. Trujillo is being charged with 5 felonies, criminal attempted first-degree murder of a peace officer, a violent officer, assault in the first degree, vehicular eluding, menacing, possession of a weapon by a previous offender. This is an ongoing investigation. More information will become available as it's released by CBI. Female inmate at Alamosa County Detention Center found unresponsive in cell. That's interesting. So, is this just a suicide or did she get killed? What happens behind closed doors? Oh, we don't know. And if they always defend the cops, they'll just make up a damn reason, right? Cover the cop's ass. You got a license to murder. So why did Erica Ann Martinez die in jail? We don't know. We don't know. They'll try to tell us oh, she was Epstein. Oh, I'm sure you weren't just getting rid of her so that way Epstein doesn't disclose his little black book and take down a whole bunch of rich and powerful people. 7:19 a.m. at which time deputies EMS staff performed life-saving measures. Joe DeZuris, Alamosa County Coroner, has identified the woman as Erica Ann Martinez. The Valley Courier reached DeZuris when he was returning to Alamosa after an autopsy on Martinez had been completed, the results of which he says confirmed there was no foul play. Alamosa County Sheriff Robert Jackson has contacted CBI, requested a thorough investigation of the incident. According to a statement from the Sheriff's Office, it's an ongoing investigation. We'll never find out. An autopsy revealed no sign of foul play. Oh, okay. So she was able to somehow commit suicide in a jail. How? She tied the bed sheets up and then hung herself. She found a shank. She was able to get a knife. She was able to pull out a gun from the officer and shoot herself. I mean, this just, I don't know if I believe this shit. People are this is a fascist bullshit is what this is. Daniel Brandt trial begins on Monday. Teenager accused of shooting an Alamosa police officer and another man in 2022 during a disturbance. This one is interesting. Erica Ann Martinez. Is there any articles about Erica Ann Martinez? I didn't get the date on that. Erica Ann Martinez, Alamosa County. So you got she looks beautiful. So 41 passed unexpectedly. She was welcomed into the world April 26, 1983. So this is Life Tributes page, and it's got some things here. Sorry for your loss. Erica was a good friend. I will remember her, says Wanda. June 4th, 2024. So this is recently. This was just 2 months ago. I find it hard to believe that really anybody would kill themselves. It could be terrible, right? They just a terrible life in jail, and they're never getting out. So, oh well, I don't even care anymore. Who cares? I'm out of here, everybody. See you later. So you have Joshua Sayer. No, this is something else. Daniel Brandt trial begins Monday. Teenager accused of shooting an Alamosa police officer and another man in the 2022 during a disturbance. This is 31 minutes already, so we'll talk about this case in the next one.